Hey there, Mr. Bill here today, and today I'm going to show you guys how I standardize my project files for release on my website. And this sounds like it might be a little bit of a boring thing, but there's actually some interesting stuff that I talk about in here. So for instance, like how you would freeze a third-party plugin if it has a sidechain compressor on it, or how you set up lessons in Live. So for instance, if you look at my website, there's a bunch of like images here of what the project files look like after they're standardized, and you can see that there's like all this information that opens up with these projects when you open them, showing you what plugins are used, and it has like links to other places and stuff like that. And the whole point of standardizing these projects is essentially so that when you open them, you can expect like a certain level of like quality and make sure that nothing's missing, make sure that if you don't have any third-party plugins that you can still use it. And essentially just make sure that everything is like just all neat and tidy and ready to go. And the idea behind it was that I wanted people to be able to just download like a demo version of Ableton Live and then download a project file on my website and be able to open a project file on my website with a demo version of Live and then just be able to look through it and mess with it. And although you wouldn't be able to export or save, you would still be able to like learn things and really quickly get the idea of how all of this stuff works. So I make the standardization process that I subject all of my project files to available on my website. And you can kind of read through the process here, but I'm going to show you that now anyway. And then over here, this is all the project files that are currently available. So I pretty much open source like most of my stuff. So most of my releases, the project files are here, and you can go and see exactly how they were made. And if you have questions, you could always email me or anything like that. But yeah, without further ado, I'm going to get into how I standardize these projects. Okay, so step one, we want to go through and make sure all of these channels are named with their with a capital, and make sure that anything that's not named is named, and make sure that anything that's not used, so like this channel here, is deleted. So I'm going to go do that now, and I'll make you watch the whole process because it's very fun. No, I'm just joking. We'll time lapse it. Cool. So now that everything is named, if we go back to my list of things that I need to do to make these projects nice and neat for you guys, every track needs to be grouped, named, and colored. So the way that I do that is based on this setup over here. So what I had Funny do, my artist, and if you haven't checked him out, you should go check him out. Here's the link to his website here. Is I had him name the entire Ableton color palette. So if you go into Ableton and you just right click a clip or something like that, you can see that there's a whole color palette here. So I actually just had him go and create names for all of those, and I think that they're pretty interesting names. The SC input, which is the sidechain input, is going to be dark gray, and then the drum group is going to be salmon, which is this color, and then within that the kick's going to be tomato, and the snares and claps are going to be rust, and like so on and so forth. So essentially what we're going to do here is go through all of this stuff, and we're going to try and group everything into these groups. We're going to try and make a drum group, a bass group, a synths group, an effects group, a vocals group, and then obviously the return and the master channel, or the return tracks and the master channels. So yeah, the way I do it is just by working across the line. In the end, it doesn't look like super pretty, but it's just the easiest. It's the easiest way for me to remember how to do this quickly without having to constantly refer back to this. All right, cool. So all tracks have been grouped, named, and colored. Yes, we have finally succeeded with that. All clips on the tracks are colored the same as their respective channels. Yes, we've done that. All the channels have been thinned in session view, meaning they're compacted to their smallest form, and the stop buttons have been removed. All right, we haven't done that yet, so we have to compact all of these to their smallest form, like so. And then we have to remove all of these stop buttons, like so. Oh, and we have CliffX open. Interesting. Let's get rid of that. And then obviously the groups need to be compacted too. And then to get rid of all the stop buttons, you just highlight everything by pressing Control A, and if you press Control E, creates stop buttons. I just remove all those. Then I also delete all these too, so it's just one channel. So the mix state looks really clean. The arrangement markers are being created and named accurately in arrangement view. We haven't done that. So I'll just right click wherever I want to create a locator and then name it. All right, cool. So that's pretty much what the locators are going to look like. Then I like to put the loop length or the loop brace around the entire arrangement, but have it turned off. Just, I don't know why, I just like to do that. All right, so all channel inputs and outputs are routed correctly, and those without need for input are set to no input because it saves CPU power, which is true. Also, if you don't have anything plugged into your sound card, if you do have stuff plugged into your sound card sending a signal and something's accidentally set to input monitoring or something like that, then you'll get a nasty surprise. So I like to make sure that doesn't happen to people. So I go through and make sure no input is set for all of these, which it looks like for the most part it is. Like this one here should be set to no input. Okay, so that's all good. I usually leave the MIDI inputs there just because I don't feel like they use any, they're not going to cause any issues. So like this one here is like, just, I don't know, if there's input coming into there, I feel like that's some shit that maybe needs to be processed. I also might just be paranoid about this. Okay, cool, so we're good there. The mastering Q levels are set to 0. Okay, so we just have to set this Q level to 0, and now that's true. So all third-party plugins have been frozen, even if they have a sidechain compressor on them. Okay, so this is where it gets kind of interesting. So we have Kick by Nicky Romero. We can freeze this. Eventually we'll get to one that has a sidechain compressor on it, and I'll show you how to fix that. So it looks like most of this stuff is Ableton. So this just basically ensures that anytime anybody doesn't have any of these plugins and that they open them, that this is sort of like a frozen, like a rendered version. But it also ensures that if somebody does have the plugin, that they can unfreeze this and get it back to its sort of vector state, I suppose, meaning that they could tweak it at its sort of root level rather than having to worry so much about how it's being processed. This also saves processing power as well, so if somebody's coming in here and just wanting to check it out, and they do even have the plugins, it's just going to use less processing power than it normally would. Alright, damn, we haven't even come across one sidechain compressor yet. Okay, so here we go. We have some Zebra 2s here with sidechain compressors on them. Let's see here. This one's fine. This one is not. Okay. So I'm curious as to how different the settings are. Okay, they're a little different. So what I do to get around this is I just say sub SC. And then, so basically just copy this channel name, but then just put SC after it. So something like that. And then what we would do is we would move this sidechain compressor to the channel below it, send the signal into that channel, and then you're able to freeze the third-party signal, the third-party channel, but just have the audio from that running into the channel below it and still have it be sidechained. So it doesn't actually compromise how the track sounds in the end, and everything behaves as it should. But you just get this sort of, I don't know, ability to freeze stuff that is being sidechained, I suppose. It's a little bit of a workaround and it's sort of annoying, but gets the job done, I suppose. Right, we're good here too. So the only thing is on the master channel, we have some EQing and limiting going on. Sometimes I'll leave these as is and just say, hey, bad luck if you don't have them. And in other cases, I'll just try and mimic the master. So I'm going to try and mimic it here. And it's not really that important. I mean, if we're just using it for like learning reasons, then it doesn't really matter. So I can try and do this with the Ableton EQ. This one doesn't even go down to 20 Hertz, so. It's weird. Yeah, it sounds like nothing alike. They sound completely different. Yeah, the Ableton ones don't stand a chance against the FabFilter stuff, unfortunately. I'm going to put both there anyway, just so they're there, and hopefully anybody who downloads this has the FabFilter stuff. All right, so where are we up to now? The session has been saved in the following states. The project file is zoomed out, the playhead is set to 1.1.1, and the loop brace is set to encompass the entire arrangement, but is turned off. All right, cool. So let's put the loop brace thing here again, zoom the session out, set this to 1.1.1, and hit save. We're almost there, guys, trust me. Okay, so the session's been saved, so no samples will be missing. So what we have to do for that is we have to hit collect all and save. Then that's going to copy any samples into the project folder. Okay, and then all user-generated samples will be hidden. So let's see if there is any. There is none, so we don't have to worry about that. The sessions will be named with the following format. That's fine, we have it named properly. And all unused samples have been removed to create the smallest file possible. So to do that, we go to Manage Files, Manage Project, and then here you can check your unused files. And if there's any unused files in there, you can delete them. Also, what I like to do is shut down this overview section. So you just press Control-Alt-O, and then that shuts that down. I kind of like to shut everything down, honestly. All right, so then the last thing that we have to do here is create the lesson, and that's kind of a little bit of a pain in the ass within itself. So to create the lesson, what I usually do, I just worked out how to do it one time, and then now I just take some sort of template and drop that into the current project folder that I'm working on and use that every time. So pretty much what you need to do, you need to have a folder here, and that folder needs to be named exactly what the ALS that you want the lesson to appear in is named, but you just have to write lessons after it. I know, it's very technical. And then when you open that, you want to have a text file that says lessons with EN at the end of it. And then this image is just referenced in this text file, but you can have as many images in here referenced as you like. All right, so when you open this, you want this page thing as the heading. So just so we can get an idea of what's going on here. That's kind of small. So this heading here that's up in this bar, that's what we're talking about with this heading here. So for this, I'm going to just paste Mr. Bill metrosexual. And then usually all this I just leave the same. If you put these little asterisks around something, it makes it bold. And if you put these little, I guess you would call them like parentheses, but little spiky boys, it makes it a link. So you can actually click that link within the project file. And then there's some notes. Usually I put notes here, like something I would say about this project file is I tried to recreate the master chain with Ableton plugins, but it really sounds nothing like the FabFilter plugins, the FabFilter mastering I did. Actually, that's bad grammar. The mastering I did using FabFilter plugins. Unfortunately, if you don't have those FabFilter plugins, you just won't have the mastered version playing, as the master channel in Live is not freezable. Okay, and then the plugins used. So usually what I do here is I have a Google Doc. So let me go to my Google Docs real quick. So what I've done here is just created a link for every single plugin in my library. And then I just copy paste those into this lesson text file. So what I do is just go through here and be like, okay, I used Kick2 and Ubic. So let me go and get the first two that I see here. So I can usually search these using the search function. So I have Sonic Academy Kick2, let's put that in here. And then also we have Ubic, which is the first one in the list. Zebra 2, and Silence. Okay. Valhalla Room. Yeah, that's probably fine. And then what I usually do here is turn this into a Jujul link. The reason I do that is because I like to track the clicks. So then you can go through here later and eventually I'll send this to some plugin companies and be like, hey, because of me, I've sent X amount of people to your website to look at your plugins. So you should maybe give me a plugin or something. So that's the theory behind that. Okay, and there's probably not much more that I need to write in the notes here. I mean, there's a whole, well, actually, I guess supporting video content we could put in the YouTube video that I'm going to make out of this, I suppose. But yeah, basically, that's almost good to go, I would say, at this point. So I believe we've ticked all the boxes for the standardization process. The last thing to do is to take a screenshot. And usually I like to take the screenshot with the lessons. So I would save the lessons here. So just hit save. Nope. Okay, so shut this. All right, cool. So now the lesson opens up. If you open this and you say, okay, what plugins are there? Trash 2, oh, I like Trash 2. Click on that. It'll take you to the Trash 2 website where you can buy it or whatever. So yeah, this is like a nice way just to put links in. Shit, this is still the link to my old website. Whoops. And then all my social links are down here. So if you want to go check my whatever. Okay, so I got to take a snapshot of this now. Sorry, a screenshot, not a snapshot. Okay, so usually I take a screenshot that looks something like this. So I will open up Snipping Tool, which is a good program on Windows for taking screenshots. And I'll take a screenshot of this. And I'll save it on my desktop. And then that's it. That's good to go. Now I just have to zip that, put it on the server, and then you guys can have it for free. I'm going to put this on the website for free. All right, so as you can see, this process is an absolute fucking pain in the ass. It takes me almost an hour to clean up a project file. And as you can see here, there's like 50 or so project files on my website. So this is just like 50 hours of cleaning shit up. And you can get access to all of this for like $15 a month, or you can buy each project file for $5. I'm going to give you this project file for free, just to get you hooked. No, I'm joking. I just really want to give a project file away. But like, I think going through project files like this is a nice way to like reverse engineer stuff and learn. I learned a lot from Tom Cosm's project files back in the day. And I think that anybody who's trying to make electronic music can learn a lot from looking at project files like this. So yeah, I mean, I really don't like I really don't like standardizing these things. It is just a pain in the ass. So if anybody wants this job, let me know. I'll pay you to standardize these, and this can behave as the instructional video for you to do this job, because it's I don't know. I would prefer not to, if possible. So yeah, anyway, I hope that was informative to some degree and wasn't too dry and boring. Like, hopefully you learned something from like the sidechain routing thing, or like the lessons thing, or I don't know. Hopefully there was something of interest in there that didn't completely shake your dick off or something. But yeah, anyway, sorry for all the brazen self-endorsement in this video as well, but had to be done, I guess. And also sorry for the late upload this week and last week, because last week I was touring, so it got uploaded a day late, and this week I was sick from touring last week, so the whole start of the week was fucked. I usually record on Tuesdays, but I couldn't because I had a temperature of like 110. So anyway, have a good day.